Law and order must be restored. To every voter in Milwaukee, to every voter living in the inner city, or every forgotten stretch of our society, I'm running to offer you a much better future, a much better job. The other party, the Democratic Party, nominated the personification of special interest corruption. We reject the bigotry of Hillary Clinton, which panders to and talks down to communities of color and sees them only as votes. That's all they care about, not as individual human beings worthy of a better future.
That was Donald Trump speaking late last night near Milwaukee, where riots have been the headline there. He slammed Hillary for creating the climate for that, but polls show that she is still ahead by 7 points.
Okay, that according to the polls. However, when people are polled anonymously, the results are very different, as this one shows Trump in the lead by nearly 30 points. This is according to the Zip app. Are voters just too ashamed to admit how they really feel? Here to weigh in is psychiatrist and Fox News medical A-team member, Dr. Keith Ablow. Dr. Keith, good morning to you. Is that what the problem is when somebody from one of the polling services calls you on the phone and says, who do you like, Hillary or Trump? People think that if I say Trump, they're going to judge, and so they just go to the Hillary answer?
You know, I think that could be what's happening. It's a very viable possibility. We won't know until Election Day. But the bottom line is, it's not that they're ashamed, it's that they're savvy in this sense. You know, people don't want to expose themselves to harassment, to violence. If you put, I can't tell you the number of people who've said to me, I would put a Trump sticker on my car or my truck or my SUV, but I can't do that. My car will be keyed. I'm supporting the guy, so is my whole family, so is everybody I know, but I don't really want my car destroyed. Is that a failure of courage to an extent? I guess a little bit, but it's also kind of wise in the sense that, listen, you express yourself in the voting booth. In the privacy of that domain, it could be that all the pollsters have proven wrong, because the greatest thing in the world is the truth. It still is. And if people resonate with the fact that this is a guy who's willing to tell the truth, politically incorrect, sometimes inelegantly, but you know what? The truth always wins in psychiatry, and it should be in politics and in life.
All right, would you say that that is more of a case with Trump than Romney, Dole, McCain, or Bush?
Sure, because those guys, listen, you've named some very esteemed leaders, but in terms of their raw ability to simply, in an unadulterated way, tell the truth, this is unprecedented. We have a guy who stands up on podiums and says, sure, I've had businesses go out of business. What entrepreneur has not had businesses go bankrupt? You can't be an entrepreneur and say you had 100 batting average, or you're a liar. We've never had anything like that. And so people, when they receive that kind of gut level truth, they do with it in the ballot box what they would do with it in the confessional.
What is that?
They take their own counsel.
What does it tell you about the culture of our society now, where we're too afraid to actually talk about this election or put bumper stickers on our car because we're fearful that our car will get keyed? Or there's the lady in Staten Island, the guy in Staten Island who put the big T in front of his yard, and they tore it down, so he just put a bigger one up. He didn't care, but a lot of people are fearful.
Why don't I share some of my voicemails with you from going on Fox News and expressing conservative ideology, or my support for Donald Trump, people with death threats, people yelling obscenities. Look at the IRS targeting conservatives. We've learned, and Trump is the zenith of this. When you say that you support someone who's out there like Trump, you align yourself with him. He's heroic. I mean, he is willing to take a huge risk to express himself, and there's a little risk for those who fall in line behind him, but not in the voting booth. There's no risk there.
Well, we'll know on November the 9th. Dr. Keith Ablow, we thank you very much.
God willing, it'll be President Trump.
So, all right, so you already know who you're voting for.
Yes, and I'm hoping everybody else does too.
Poor Jill Stein. I think she was counting on it.
Right.
All right.
She bet you had Ablow.
Thanks, Keith.
Thanks, Dr. Ablow.
Take care.
All right, let's hand it over.